Hello, everyone. You're certainly all more obedient than the average classroom. You've quieted out quite quickly. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And we have adoption of the agenda by Councillor Smith.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Isabel Ann McCrae. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth adopt the agenda for the December 9, 2025 Council meeting as presented.
Thank you. Those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. I'll read the land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional home of various Indigenous peoples. As we work towards reconciliation, may we all live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is anyone? Councillor Bird.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm declaring a potential pecuniary interest in relation to agenda number 14, item 10.1, grant application Experience Ontario 2026 program, Stuart Park Festival. I'm an ex officio to the Stuart Park Festival Committee as emergency planning officer, and so I will not be participating in the discussion or the vote because it's a financial aspect and the emergency plan could require some of that.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Could you read the next motion, please? 5.1, adoption of the minutes.
Thank you, yes. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Smith. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth adopt the minutes of the 25th of November 2025 regular council meeting.
Thank you. Those in favor? Again, that's unanimous. So we have a delightful event now. I'll call up Debbie Spruill first of all. Hello there. Familiar face, especially to anybody that hangs around the museum. 35 years, Debbie's been a quiet but unwavering cornerstone of our community, serving with dedication, humility, and an extraordinary depth of knowledge. As the administrator and collections specialist at Perth Museum, Debbie safeguarded the stories that define our own town, including its people, its buildings, and its most meaningful moments. In fact, Debbie first started on contract with the museum before coming on full-time. And then this coming May, she will be 40 years with the town altogether. Must have started as a child. Her institutional memory and attention to detail are unmatched, and time and again, she's been the person everyone turns to when an answer matters. This year, in celebration of the museum's 100th anniversary, the launch of the special video series, That's a Debbie Question, offered a lighthearted but heartfelt tribute to just how much we rely on her remarkable expertise. While the series brought a smile to many, it also captured something much deeper, the profound respect and appreciation our organization and community hold for Debbie's lifelong commitment to preserving Perth's history. Her work ensures that our past is not only protected, but shared, understood, and cherished by generations to come. It's truly fitting that this milestone of 35 years of service is being formally recognized at Council, and it is an honor to celebrate a career defined by passion, professionalism, and an enduring love for our community. We're deeply grateful for Debbie's contributions and proud to recognize her extraordinary legacy, not registry. So we'd like to thank you by giving you this gift as a token of our appreciation. will call up the fellow who stands out in the crowd. Brent McLaren, could you please come forward?
Congratulations.
And in the spot of honor. Well, 20 years as a town crier. I found over the last few years that wherever Brent goes, he inevitably calls me up on stage. But there's no matching Brent. Hey, you found out that he scares dogs by crying. So in July of 2005, the Perth Courier published 2 articles informing the residents that the BIA and Perth Town Council would be seeking the services of a town crier. During the annual Festival of Good Cheer, which took place in November 2004, Kingston's town crier, Chris Wyman, made such an impression on organizers and festival attendees that the BIA decided it would be fitting for Perth to have one of their own. Town criers were historically newsmen who would read proclamations and news in the village square. The trademark call of "Oyez, oyez" is delivered from the French word ouïr, meaning listen. The tools of the trade include the bell and the scroll. Applications called for a 3-year commitment, where the successful candidate would attend civic ceremonies, charity fundraisers, and tourism events, bringing greetings, proclamations, and acting as parade minister. I could see you as Santa. On occasion, and basically filling the role of goodwill ambassador. With Perth's military background and rich history, the successful candidate would have to be someone who understood and played to those attributes, both historical and theatrical. Brent McLaren, then a high school teacher at PDCI, was one of the 3 candidates. With his experience as a music teacher, singer, actor, producer, and director, he certainly had the qualifications for the job. In the end, it was both his writing skill and the ability to clearly project his voice, I can vouch for that, and remain comfortable in front of a crowd that tipped the scales in his favor. On August the 18th, 2005, during a Perth Citizens Band concert at the Band Shell, there was a public audition, and the select committee chose Brent to represent the BIA and the town of Perth. In September, Town Council ratified that decision, and on November 26, 2005, during the Festival of Good Cheer, Brent opened the event with his first ever cry as ambassador for the town of Perth, and the rest, as they say, is history. Very soon after accepting the position, Brent enlisted his wife, the late Shelley McLaren, as his cohort in the town crier duties. A public fundraising campaign issued in the hopes of raising $3,000 for his first suit. Now, 20 years later, Brent is still an extraordinary ambassador for our community as he attends council functions, festival, tourism events, parades, openings, ribbon cuttings, presentations, and even private functions. Tourists and locals alike still stop him in the street for a photo opportunity and are delighted by the ringing of the bell and his booming voice. Thank you sincerely, Brent, for your 20 years of dedicated to this very public and unique position. We wouldn't be the wonderful community we are without you.
Thank you. Never let up an opportunity to speak. I often wondered why I couldn't find anything about Christmas in the local Courier. It turns out that 100 years ago, they didn't speak about Christmas. Christmas was a verb. They spoke about to Christmas or Christmasing. That's why Charles Dickens, at the end of A Christmas Carol, could write, and it was said of him that he kept Christmas better than any, did not kept Christmas Day, but he kept Christmas. And somehow I think that that is Perth. We're a verb. we keep Perth. And so my wish, as I thank your worship, as I thank the members of council, as I thank my friends, is that you not only have an absolutely blessed Christmas that you keep, but over the new year to come, you keep Perth first and foremost in your hearts. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent. Perth is such a unique community and has such a sense of community, and Brent is certainly the vital part of that. So back to the agenda. The next is the consent agenda from Councillor Brent, both.
It's okay, I've been called worse. Thank you, your worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dave Bird, that the following motions listed below in the consent agenda from the Committee of the Whole meeting of December 2nd, 2025 be passed and numbered accordingly. And those are numbers 1 through 14.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to request the removal of an item prior to the vote of the consent agenda? Give it a sec. Okay, I see no one indicating that they wish to pull an item from the consent agenda. So those in favor of the consent agenda? You're not unanimous?
Aye.
So under motions. Yeah, Councillor Bolt, I'll get it right this time.
Yes, your worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Isabel Ann McCray. Be it resolved, the Council of the Town of Perth authorize the Director of Community Services to submit a grant application to the Experience Ontario 2026 program to an upset limit of $20,000 to assist in funding the Stewart Park Festival in 2026, as presented in Report 2025-CAL-15.11.
Thank you, and Councillor Bird has indicated his conflict of interest. So those in favor of those able to vote, thank you, that's unanimous. And Councillor Bird, did you read the next motion? Which is 11 under bylaws.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McCray. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth has read the following bylaw a first, second, and third time short, passed and signed by the Mayor and Clerk. Bylaw number 5240, 2026, Mayor's Budget. Adopt the Mayor's Budget.
Thank you. And I'll just say a couple of words, considering as I am responsible for this budget. Council struggled as it did and has done every year, knowing how difficult times are getting and how difficult it is for people to buy groceries, buy gas for the car, let alone pay taxes. Unfortunately, we also have an infrastructure deficit. Much of our infrastructure was constructed in the 50s and 60s and has deteriorated. So at the other end of the spectrum, we have to keep up with repairing roads and so on. So we ended up with a tax increase of 7% and a capital allowance of another 8%. But speaking on behalf of council, I can assure you that we considered things very carefully, and this is the best it is. Is there any one that wishes to comment? Councillor Bolt.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I'm going to be asking for a recorded vote on this, and I'd like to speak to the motion. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank yourself and our treasurer for working very hard on this budget. As tough as it is to accept, I know that a lot of thought went into it, and I know that there was due diligence done to try to limit it to the level you came at. I'd also like to acknowledge my fellow councillors who will likely support this, and I respect their decision. That said, I will not be supporting the budget, primarily for a lot of the reasons that you've already stated. Every day we turn on the television, we hear of more people struggling, more people at the food banks, more people losing their homes. We have a year or two or three or maybe more ahead of us where with the situation between Canada and the United States, with tariffs, and we really don't know where we're going. We're looking at inflation that could be, who knows, up to double digit coming at us. So I couldn't find it, or I can't find it within my heart to support a budget of this magnitude. In my heart of hearts, I truly believe that we, as a council and as a town, have to strive going forward to find more and more efficiencies. If I were the owner of a corporation or a company, and I was sitting down with my financial planner or my bank manager, and I laid out to him or her where I thought I was going to have to go in the next 4 to 5 years, and that in the next 4 or 5 years, I'm going to have to borrow to my maximum, not knowing where I'm going to go after that. I think my financial planner, in fact, I know my financial planner and my bank manager would have some grave concerns. There are ways to cut costs. And I will acknowledge, in order to cut costs, sometimes you have to cut, some of the things that people take for granted in services and so on. And I'm not suggesting that's the way we go, but I think going forward, there are some very serious decisions that have to be made going forward with what's coming at us. Now, one could argue that, and many people argue that, if we have some economic development going forward, that can certainly turn the tables around. And I would work hard towards that. And I hope and pray that does happen. But that doesn't happen overnight. And I think every community across the land is looking for answers to where we're going. This isn't a made in Perth problem. This is a made in Canada problem. And we're all going to have to tighten our belts. And I'm not lecturing here. I'm just stating the obvious. We all have to tighten our belts going forward. So without rambling on, I'm just going to state that I cannot and will not support the budget, but thanks to council for your consideration. And once again, thanks for your hard work in getting us to where we are.
Thank you. I respect your feelings, and I appreciate your eloquence in expressing how you feel. Anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Waterfield.
Mayor Brown, I listened very carefully to Councillor Bold's comments, and I know where he's coming from, and I respect his views. However, I will be reluctantly supporting this budget. I'm very concerned about our finances during the next couple of years and beyond. I think all of us have worked extremely hard on this budget, both staff and council. I would prefer that we're not having as high an increase for property taxes that we are, but I feel at this point it's necessary. So I will be supporting the budget, but I will be supporting it reluctantly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Bird.
Thank you, Your Worship. I will be supporting this budget. I'm not happy that we're in the situation that we're in, nor should any of us be, but we're dealing with the reality. And we've just been through a process where no one provided any solutions beyond what we are dealing with immediately now and what we have put into this budget. And that's all I'm going to say on that. We have had discussion at council, and we have resolved that this is the only way to move forward at this point. I also hope the future is rosier for the town, but I do take the point from Councillor Bolt that there is a time lag on anything that happens, and before we receive benefits of any kind. I would close by saying that if I think the town of Perth is ahead of a lot of other municipalities in the fact that we've reached the end of the road, that we don't have the development and this endless development paying for the present at the expense of the future. We've learnt the lesson and we're having to deal with it.
Thank you, Councillor Burden. Councillor McCray.
Maybe I can wrap this up through you, Chair. Over the last 2 weeks, I have been boots on the ground, collecting money for Toonies for the Table. We have, just so people are aware, and I concur exactly with Councillor Bolt is saying, we have 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 4:30 to 6, over 100 people lining up at the table. In the province of Ontario, there are over 1 million people using the food bank. But just as Councillor Bolt has also stated, it's just not here in Perth. It's all over the country. I did a lot of soul searching on this budget, and I spent a lot of time researching, and I spent a lot of time with Nev. And I feel that our staff and our council have worked the budget over, have gone line by line. Our staff have thought of ways to try to reduce costs and increase revenues, everything to the point of looking at agencies to provide sponsorship for some of the events that we have. But the reality is this: we can't continue to kick the can down the road, or there will be no road to kick it down. And it's rather unfortunate that we have to bite the bullet, and we have to, we're in a position where we have to hold our own. We have to ensure that the financial integrity of our municipality, and that's why all of us are sitting here today and fretting. But unfortunately, that is our that is the responsibility of a councillor. And so unfortunately, that's why we had to make the decision that we did. Our hearts go out to our community, and all I can say to each and every one is, you know, do whatever you can to support your neighbors, your families, your friends, especially at this time of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Does either of the gentlemen joining us virtually wish to speak? No. Barry? No. Yes. Your mic might be off. Oh, okay. I didn't see said no. Okay, thank you.
Every
Proceed.
time I turn my mic on, it's flipped off and it says the host flipped it off.
That's because we get a lot of feedback, Barry, when your mic is unmuted.
Okay, all right,
So unless you're speaking, if you can just keep it muted.
all right.
Okay, we'll proceed then. You wanted a recorded vote, Madam Clerk?
Mayor Brown,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor McPherson,
Aye.
Councillor Byrd, Councillor Bolt, Councillor McCray, Councillor Smith,
Aye.
Councillor Waterfield.
Aye.
It's carried.
Okay, so the Vote is positive, 6-1. Thank you you all for your time and dedication and formulating this budget. So, bylaws, Councillor Bolt.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Gary Waterfield. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth has read the following bylaws of first, second, and third time short, passed and signed by the mayor and clerk, and those are numbered 1 through 8.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak to any of the list bylaws? Seeing none, those in favor? Thank you. It's at this point that we go into closed session for the following purposes. 1, potential sale of town-owned lands legally described as parts 27 and 28, concession 10, geographic township of North Elmsley, subject to subsection 239, bracket 2. C, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. And I, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organization. Secondly, is in regard to Algonquin College, Perth campus rezoning, and that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor McCray.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Jim Bolt. I propose a motion that the Council of the Town of Perth resolve into a closed session at 5:58 p.m. pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 for the following purposes that our mayor has just mentioned.
Thank you. Those in favor? Unanimous? We're meeting here, there. Okay, we'll meet in the Sunshine Room.
So Ed and Barry, I sent you a Teams link. If you can sign off your Zoom and then join on that, it'll give me 2 minutes to get the computer set up in the next room and we'll see you there.
Councillor Byrd.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Waterfield. Be it resolved that the Council of Town of Perth rise and report from closed session at 7:42.
Thank you. Those in favor? It's unanimous. So the rise and report is that number one, we approved closed session meeting minutes from November 25th, 2025. Number two, discussed a potential sale of town-owned lands. And three, received legal advice subject to solicitor-client privilege regarding the Algonquin College Perth campus. Okay. So next is the, scroll up. Committee and local, what did I miss? Oh, sorry. Councillor Byrd, could you read 14.1 also?
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Bolt. Be it resolved that the Council of Town of Perth receive for information the report regarding the potential for rezoning of Algonquin College Perth campus as presented in Report 2025 Council-14.1.
And the seconder for that?
Was myself.
Councillor Waterfield, thank you. Those in favor? Thank you. The committee, local board and external board meetings reports. With council's permission and given the time, does anyone have anything critical that they wish to bring to our attention? Councillor Waterfield?
Mayor Brown, I do have within my report a motion that I would like to bring forth to council.
Right, thank you. Go ahead.
Do I have your permission to read this out?
Yep.
Thank you. This has been seconded by Councillor Byrd. Whereas the Conservation Authorities Act 1946 enables municipalities to establish a local conservation authorities, and when municipalities choose to form such authorities, they assume responsibility for governance and funding through the appointment of a board of directors and the provision of an annual levy. And whereas local municipalities established the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority in 1966 and currently provide approximately 50% of total Conservation Authority funding, while the province of Ontario provides approximately 3%. And whereas municipalities have governed their respective conservation authorities for decades, tailoring programs and services to local watershed needs, maintaining accountable service standards, and ensuring fair and predictable costs for ratepayers. And whereas Bill 68, Schedule 3 and ERO Posting 025-1257 proposes to consolidate Ontario's 36 conservation authorities into 7 regional authorities and create an Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency, a Crown agency that would assume oversight over conservation authorities and have the ability to levy authorities to cover its cost. And whereas the province already possesses the authority to establish overarching legislation, regulations, standards, and policies across all conservation authorities through the Conservation Authorities Act and the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth calls on the Government of Ontario to maintain local, independent, municipally governed, watershed-based conservation authorities to ensure strong local representation in decisions related to municipal levies, community-focused service delivery, and the protection and management of conservation lands. And further, that while the Council of the Town of Perth supports provincial goals for consistent permit approval processes, shared services, and digital modernization, imposing a new top-down agency structure without local accountability and governance risk creating unnecessary cost, red tape, and bureaucracy, thereby undermining the efficiency and responsiveness to local community needs. And further, that the Council of the Town of Perth supports efforts to balance expertise, capacity, and program delivery across the province and requests that the province work collaboratively with municipalities and local conservation authorities to determine the most effective level of strategic consolidation to achieve both provincial and local objectives. And further, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Ontario Minister of Environment, Conservation of Parks, to local MPs and to MPPs, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, the local conservation authorities, and all municipalities in Ontario.
Thank you. Discussion, questions of Gary, Councillor Byrd?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I'm very happy that I was chosen to second this motion. I support it completely. It's dealing with another issue of local voices getting further and further removed from decision making or input, and I'm instinctively against that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Bolt?
Thank you, Your Worship. So Gary, questions for Gary, or in general. We have in the past been asked by other municipalities who have passed similar motions to endorse the same motion. Am I reading it correctly? Are we encouraging some of the other conservation authorities to also back our motion? Because if they get bombarded with a bunch of them, it has more meaning than if we send one.
That is correct. The strategy is that we are asking all municipalities within the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority area to pass this motion. And speaking with fellow board members, it looks like that's going to be 100%. Other conservation authorities have their own governance. However, I've been in more meetings than I'll care to talk about in the past few weeks. And while there is slightly different strategies with the other 35 conservation authorities, it's very, very similar. All conservation authorities are asking for input from municipalities with motions like this to go to all the people that we're copying. And just as an aside, just for council's information, one of the meetings I was at within the past week was on Friday, meeting with the minister, meeting with the chief conservation officer. I was with the head of AMO, I was with the head of Roma, and we spent most of Friday in a meeting pertaining to this whole issue. So all of the stakeholders in this are really coming together. There are multiple meetings, multiple discussions, and I respectfully would request that council supports this motion.
So
I certainly hope they do. It's the bigger you get, the more you lose touch with what's important locally, and probably this is a part of the province's continuing efforts to lessen the conservation authorities' authority and their limitations so that building can go forward.
that's right.
Anyone else? No? Okay, those in favor? Thank you. As far as county council goes, we did pass the budget, it's 2.9%. Fortunately, the county has a fairly large reserve, which is the major reason is because there's so much development, and you know the county takes their share of those fees and charges. So that is CAO's aim, to use the reserves to smooth, as he puts it, the increase in taxes. Anyone else wish to draw anything to our attention? No, 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 okay. Next. We're scrolling, so. Report. Oh, yes, Councillor McCray, 15.13.
Yes, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Barry Smith. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Perth receive the Council Committee, local boards and external report minutes as presented.
You, those in favor? Motion is carried. Questions from the media?
Ryan Turner here with MyFM. Not a question, just wanted to wish council and staff the best Christmas and a prosperous and happy new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
sir.
Brian.
Okay, next meeting date is of council is January 27. Councillor Smith, you're still with us? Can you read the 19.1, the confirmation? I think your mic
Be
is
it
off. I
resolved
can't- oh,
that the
no.
council of the town of Perth pass bylaw number 5244, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the town of Perth at its meeting held December 9, 2025, be read a first, second, and third time short, passed and signed by the mayor and clerk.
Thank you. Those in favor? Okay. So just before we adjourn, given the date, and it's a fact that it's the last meeting of this year, so I just wanted to wish Merry Christmas to everyone and thank council for their diligence, their support. It's been a very interesting year. And I think we've come through it well. So again, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and let's see, Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa. If anyone of my council wants to,
Go ahead.
Councillor Bolt?
I'd just like to second that sentiment, and I hope that things turn around for all of us in the town of Perth and across the country, and I just hope that 2026 is the start of nothing but good things. Thank you.
You? So McCray?
Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you. Councillor Waterfield?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I echo the sentiments of what everybody else has said. And I would just like to say that I want to recognize the hard work and professionalism of our staff the past year. They have all worked extremely hard. And I'd like to also recognize my fellow councilors. You know, we all have the privilege of sitting around this table because we have a passion for our town. We come to meetings prepared. We have discussions, sometimes debates. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, and that's actually quite healthy. But when we leave this place and we walk down the stairs, we wish everybody good night. And we say, we hope you have a good week. And not all municipalities have that situation.
Mhm.
So I feel privileged to be working with my fellow councilors and the fact that we can have an excellent meeting, walk out and say good night to everybody. I think that's good for the functioning of our council, and I think it's for the benefit of all citizens of our town. Happy holidays, everybody, and a happy 2026.
Thank you. Councillor Bird?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to wish my colleagues on the council, all the staff and the community as a whole, a very happy and enjoyable Christmas season. And in the old expression, I really am hoping for a happy and prosperous new year.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Merry Christmas to everybody, and I hope everybody gets a chance to slow it down a bit and enjoy your families.
Thank you. Councillor Smith? Did you wish to say anything?
Yeah, I did say something actually at the beginning, but I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a safe one as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Bolt? Motion to adjourn.
At 7:56 p.m.
Thank you. Those in favor? Okay, let's hope we don't get